This is the.
All right. So describe Schenck versus United States 1919. Detail the clear and present danger rule and how it applies to the court case. And Debs versus United States 1919. I mentioned that one yesterday as well. Very similar. Very similar. So when you're finished up with this, we'll discuss it. We'll go over it. Don't let me forget. I'm going to come around and check them and then give you a grade for them. What's up, Sarah? Working on the bell ringer. Yeah, go ahead. See ya. Close the door. Rude. Rude. How about it? Give you another minute to finish up and we'll go over it. Yeah, what's up? Yep, I got it. Yep, I'll put it in the grade book. All right, so let's get to it here. Schenck versus United States, 1919. What was going on? So let's start off with what was happening in the United States right around 1917, moving up into 1918. What conflict? What event? Jeffrey?
World War I.
World War I. Good job. Good job. And what was the issue here? What did President Wilson enact to try to make sure that there's protection for the people internally in the United States, make sure that there wasn't an attack? Jeffrey, go ahead.
The Selective Service Act.
Okay, all right. So that was the build-ups, more participation in the military as we're trying to get involved in the conflict, right? We need to raise our numbers in the military. But to try to prevent an internal attack, what did he enact? What did he create? Go ahead, Brock. The Espionage and Sedition Act. Good job. So if you're talking badly about the country, the United States, or if you're trying to maybe cause a disruption with the war effort, well, you're going to see some jail time or you'll be fined. In worst cases, you'll be killed on the streets by maybe these people, your neighbors, your friends, maybe once friends, because you're going against the country. You're a traitor, right? And then the Espionage Act, if you're maybe a sympathizer, a German spy, who knows? So if you spoke anything other than English, chances are you're going to be viewed as a traitor. You're going to be viewed as someone that is going against the goodwill of the country. Okay. All right. So Schenck versus the United States, what was going on here? So good work on the Selective Service Act. What was he doing? What was he describing to many of the American people about the Selective Service Act, Jeffrey?
He was describing how it is a violation of the 13th Amendment and how people that were.
What's the 13th Amendment?
Slavery and indentured service.
Good job. And what was he saying?
He's saying that it is a violation of the 13th Amendment and that people should dodge the draft because it is a violation of the said act.
Okay, yeah, good job. So he's trying to promote people to dodge the Selective Service Act, saying it was unconstitutional, that the government can't force you into warfare. Okay, they just can't choose you and pick you to go fight in this war. Okay, even if, like, obviously, if it goes against your religion, if it goes against your beliefs of warfare, of obviously aggression, of battle. And he was saying this goes against your fundamental rights, goes against the 13th Amendment. Good job. So what happened to him? What happened to him? Jeffrey, go ahead.
He got arrested.
All right, yeah, he got arrested, right? And they're saying, listen, you can have freedom of speech, you can express yourself, but if you're trying to go against the country during a time of war, when we're trying to prepare for the conflict, and at this point, the United States has never been involved in such a war like this before. So it's important that everybody was on board and for the war effort. And here we have Schenck obviously trying to push people against the war effort, saying that it was unconstitutional with the Selective Service Act. And this could cause what? What could this cause if Schenck was just maybe not arrested, or if he was allowed to continue his actions against the Selective Service Act? What could this cause, Brock? What do you think? A rebellion, a revolt? Good job. And actually, I'm sure you heard about it with Mr. Henninger. If you took academic history in the Civil War, there's many protests and riots over the drafts. Okay, the 1863 draft riots. Okay. You guys ever see the movie Gangs of New York? Have you? Bill the Butcher?
The Butcher,
Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff, isn't it? Yeah, but that depicts really the draft riots, and it was unbelievable. Okay, the Union Army had to actually come up from the South, fighting the South, the Confederates, to try to put down this rebellion. You only could imagine that, right? Uh-oh, the baby's crying back there. So again, this was the big fear. Hey guys, this was the big fear with this Selective Service Act, that many people would rebel against the government when forcing them into the war. And this is exactly what Schenck was saying. Try to oppose the draft. And obviously, he faced some jail time because it was going against the Sedition Act, right? The United States preparing for the conflict. All right, good. So again, clear and present danger rule is this promoting any type of danger against the United States, maybe rebellion or revolt. Well, obviously that falls with that. And we can limit freedom of speech in that case. All right, what about Debs versus the United States? What was he saying? Something very similar, right? Madam, what was Debs versus the United States? Yeah, very similar, right? He was saying that you can't push people into the conflict, the Selective Service Act, right? He was saying that when did people have the choice of maybe getting involved in the conflict? This is always up to Congress. This is always up to government. And this goes against people's freedoms, people's rights, right? And he was explaining his point of view that maybe the people should have a say whether or not the country should get involved in the conflict. Yeah, the representative government, people elect these officials in, but he's saying maybe the people should make a decision on this. Never before in the United States history have the people chose about warfare. It was always these elected officials that were protected, that never had to fight in this conflict, right? Okay, good. Well, that would never fight the conflict. Good. And what happened to him? Interesting story here. What happened to him? Brock? Yeah, he got thrown in jail for a long time. And again, these two guys, Schenck and Debs, Socialist Party members, Red Scare emerging. right from 1917, the Russian Revolution occurring. So this fear, this paranoia of communism might be spreading. So yeah, he was thrown in jail. He ran for president, right? How many votes did he receive? A lot, Jeff.
1 million.
Yeah, about 1 million votes. And it just goes to show the nature of the United States at that point. And if we didn't try to limit these people's freedom of speech, especially Debs, well, who knows what could have happened? There could have been a riot. There could have been a rebellion on the streets of many of these major cities because of really a big following he had. All right, is there any questions on that, guys? I know we talked about it yesterday. The funny skit at the end of class with Meet the Parents. Hopefully you guys found a laugh out of it. But that's again pertaining to really the clear and present danger rule. If you're trying to cause anarchy or chaos, and in this case, a bomb on an airplane, you just can't say that. Why? Well, this will create a lot of paranoia, a lot of fear, to the point where someone might be harmed by these words. Okay, this form of speech, and that's why I played the video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Madden, you enjoyed it? Yeah, you wanted to play it again, just because the cuss word in it, didn't you? Yeah. Okay. All righty. Bell ringer. Let me come around and check them. So have them out ready to go. I don't think there was a bell ringer on Tuesday, was it? Wednesday, Thursday, and today. Dude, here's Bill Butcher there. Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. There's the all righty, good.
Just watching the first time last night. Ironic.
Good. Good. That's funny how I brought it up. Good. All right, good. Yeah, Bill Butcher's character, that's awesome. Yeah. We'll go mess with that guy.
Ruthless.
He will fight. Yeah.
I don't know. I was up and then I have that. Well, I actually
All right.
that at like 11.
Well,
It's neat. Right before I got like, is that good? I know. I was like, scared about everything. I was like, I couldn't sleep. It was like, and then I was.
What door mean?
Why?
You haven't done that?
I think I won't. Anyway, no. You know.
All right, I'll put those grades in as soon as possible.
I can do the best, and then what I do is I just reach out and make sure we take off it, and then I put it on top. And then I put the last one, put it out, and I think
All right, guys. So pay attention. I want to go over the bad tenancy doctrine, preferred position doctrine, and Gitlow versus New York, which you'll read about today for the assignment. So I won't dive into that too much, but I'll explain a little bit about it. So the bad tenancy doctrine, this is really just, again, building off that clear and present danger rule, where you just can't say whatever you want or express really what you want, because this might cause danger or cause some sort of hazard in society. Now, like I was saying yesterday, kind of goes along the lines of the bomb on the airplane or fire, and let's say a crowded theater. Okay, this might cause people to panic, cause people to rush to the exits, and some people might be hurt by this or harmed from it. Does that make sense, Sarah? What's going on out there? Is it snowing? Oh, okay, tired. It's eighth period on a Friday. We're getting through it. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, an AP test. Ooh, brutal. Ah, okay. Well, hey, let's get through this, then you're good, right? We got your assignment, but it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so Gitlow versus New York goes along the lines of this bad tenancy doctrine. Okay, so Gitlow, he was, guess what? What party do you think he was a part of? No, Jeffrey, what was he all about here?
Socialism.
Okay, yeah, good job, good job. So during the Red Scare, he thought, well, I'm going to try to promote this left-wing manifesto, which was a communist manifesto, pretty much, explaining about socialism, explaining about communism, and pretty much detailing about what happened in Russia right around this time in 1918, 1919. Okay, so he's describing this in a pamphlet in a newspaper, and he's sending it out to many publications, okay, many journalist companies, and he's really trying to almost promote some sort of uprising, right? He's trying to establish his viewpoints politically to other American people. So he's sending out these newspapers pretty much. And again, if you want to pick up the newspaper and read it, that's your choice. If not, you just let it lay. And that was kind of his argument with this. It's like, well, I didn't force people to pick up the article that I wrote. I didn't force people to pick up the journal that I wrote. But he got in trouble just because he was kind of inciting some sort of rebellion. He was inciting some sort of violence against the United States, saying that the only way that this form of government can be achieved is by what? By what? What do you think, or how, Jeffrey? A rebellion. Yep, good job. Just overthrowing the government. Okay. So overthrowing the government is the only way that this form of, I guess say government can be achieved. And this was obviously going against the bad tendency doctrine, or going against the bad tendency doctrine and the clear and present danger rule. That he was trying to incite violence. He was trying to incite people to rise up and throw over the government. And right around this time period was the Gilded Age, where many people weren't making a lot of money. They were working in harsh conditions, long hours. Okay. So he was really trying to promote this proletariat viewpoint. What does that mean, proletariat? Rem, do you know? No, I thought you had your hand up. Okay. Madam? Proletariat versus the bourgeoisie? No? Remember? I know we went over American history. I only talked about it. The working class individuals, right? He was promoting the working class to rise up against the business leaders, the wealthy elite status, right? And again, this was kind of targeting the government at this point. He was wanting the people to overthrow the government. So this is how he got in trouble. And again, he was trying to express his viewpoints, his political ideas, but this was inciting some sort of violence, some sort of government overthrow. And it went against the state law of New York at the time of anarchy, the anarchy law, okay? And that was established in the early 1900s from McKinley being assassinated, President McKinley. So again, clear and present danger rule, bad tendency doctrine. If you're trying to incite violence, if you're trying to maybe push for a government overthrow, you're going to get involved more than likely in jail, right? And that's exactly what happened. Bad and right, straight to jail. All right. So number 3 here, preferred position doctrine of 1940. Okay, looking back at many of these laws in World War I, okay, looking at many of the situations and court cases dealing with many of these people being thrown in jail or fined heavily about their viewpoints, their political ideology, this scared a lot of the government, right? It scared a lot of people, political figures. It's like, well, we're supposed to be established here for giving people rights and freedoms that they can express themselves. And we're just throwing people in jail and fining them for their viewpoints, for their opinions. So the government kind of took a stance. They said, maybe we should pick out some of these rights that are essential and that we shouldn't try to limit. Because if we do, if we try to show ourselves as authoritarian, then chances are we're kind of losing our fundamental background, right? We're losing what we're established for, the United States, giving these people their rights, their freedoms to express themselves the way they would like. So the preferred position doctrine is protecting these constitutional freedoms so that people aren't just thrown in jail for their viewpoints. Even if, obviously, if it's maybe socialism or communism, okay, they might have these political ideologies, these viewpoints, and we just can't throw them in jail for those reasons. Okay, that's breaking their rights, breaking their freedoms. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And in the 1940s, that occurred. Why? Why in 1940? What was the United States going to get involved in the next year? 1941. What do you think, Jeffrey?
Was
Nope. Okay, World War II, right? Yeah, so Pearl Harbor would happen in 1941. So as the United States is ramping up to World War II, okay, in 1940, the United States thought, well, we can't make the same mistake that we did moving into World War One. As we're approaching to get involved in World War One, you just can't lock up these people because this is going to cause an outrage. This is going to cause more people to maybe fuel and align with these radical viewpoints, these extreme viewpoints, if we try to just throw people in jail or fine them for their political ideology. Does that make sense? Sometimes maybe just a hands-off approach is a little bit better. If you try to have a government strict policy, then most likely there's going to be more kickback, right? There's going to be more people pushing against your intentions. Does that make sense? Yeah, so like parents in a way. If you were a strict parent, chances are the kids are going to kick back a little bit more. If you're not, if you kind of have a hands-off approach, chances are they're going to respect you a little bit more in your decisions. And if you try to, obviously, maybe set a policy, they'll follow it a little bit more. All right, so that's the preferred position doctrine in 1940. Okay, any questions on that, guys? Yeah? Okay. So right now, I'd like you guys to work on assignment Gitlow versus New York. I'm going to assign that right now. You should be able to finish it by the end of class. I think there's only 4 questions or 5 questions. And since I already talked about it, it should be pretty easy for you to complete. All right, there it is. It's published. So you know what to do. You know what to do.